Before we dive into this week's choice, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Tokyo Treat, whose mission is quite literally experience some nice, tasty, limited edition treats while also experiencing the seasonal Japan from the comfort of your own home through their snack boxes. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jack. What is Tokyo Treat? Well, Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive monthly snack box packed with Japan's coolest and craziest treats. Every month you get a Japan exclusive premium snack, limited edition chips, noodles, basically some of the best goodies you could possibly hope for, straight from Japan, straight to your front door. That's right. No sketchy aisles, no browser tabs open all over the place, no having to contact that random friend that knows how to get those treats. Yeah, just open the lid and go. Plus, every month has a theme. That's right. Every box gets a specific theme. And this month's theme is Fuji Fall Snackscape. So I want you to picture this. You're out there, you're viewing fiery red leaves. You feel the crisp mountain air rolling off of Mount Fuji and those cozy fall moments where you just want to have something nice, delicious and tasty and warm. Well, that whole mood is just packed right into this box. Inside the Fuji Fall Snackscape box, you've got seasonal and Mount Fuji inspired snacks. Take the melon haichus, for example, which are a juicy and soft little treat. But honestly, those are amazingly delicious. They're beyond what I was expecting. And in all honesty, the drawback to that is I only had one pack in that box. Then you got the Mike soy sauce popcorn. They're light, toasty, and it is a great snack to have while you're enjoying one of your favorite animes. Nothing better than being able to enjoy some nice, delicious popcorn with your favorite episode. And then there's the strawberry white chocolate crunky. Come on. Do I really need to spell it out for you? It's a creamy and crispy, chocolatey bar that is just absolutely amazing. And then finally, the Mount Fuji Choco Crunch and Sandwich Cookie. It was a cute, chocolatey little treat that honestly perfectly pairs with tea, or rather, in my case, coffee. Plus, there are a whole bunch of other treats in there that I am not going to spoil for you because honestly, all the treats in this box are absolutely delicious. I loved them all. Now, on to the booklet. What you thinking? Booklet? What booklet? Well, every Tokyo Treat box includes a cultural booklet with snack descriptions, cultural notes, and most importantly, allergen information. Now, in my house, one of the things we do as soon as we get our box is we open up that booklet and go straight to the allergen information. We always check there first because we want to make sure that we're not going to be eating things that we shouldn't be eating. It takes something that could potentially be a very stressful time and just turns it into a fun experience where we get to learn more about Japan and the culture. Now, special for our listeners, if you use coupon code Featured Anime along with our affiliate link in the show notes, you're going to save $5 off that very first box. And trust me, it is worth it. And if you are looking for a gift to give someone that is amazing and honestly just absolutely delicious, where they enjoy new flavors or anything else, this is the perfect gift for them. It is honestly one of the best gifts you can get them. So once again, coupon code Featured Anime along with our affiliate link in the show notes, and you'll save yourself $5 off that very first box. And a big thanks to Tokyo Treat for sponsoring us and keeping the snack pile stocked during late night binges. And now on to the main show. Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy Season 2, which was a continuation of the recommendation from Jeb. If you want to hear the pre-show that we were talking about, you can go ahead and go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will get you access to that bonus content and more. And now on to the meat and potatoes. Moonlight Fantasy has producers of AlphaPolis, Tokyo MX, MBS, just to name a couple of them. Studio for it is J.C.STAFF. It aired from January 2024 through June 2024. Genres for it are action, adventure, fantasy, isekai, comedy, and drama. It's based off of a light novel and it's 25 episodes long. Now, season 2 picks up right where season 1 left off, with Makoto heading to Rosgard Academy, and then he reluctantly ends up taking on a teaching job, more so that way he can more so he can become a merchant in this city and open up a store. This is forcing him to juggle that job and the Kuzunoha company that he is creating, the merchant store, and also at the exact same time quietly grow the demi-plane into a functioning society. The goddess's chosen heroes, Hibiki and Tomoki, also step into the spotlight this season, with their ideals clashing with Makoto's hands-off approach as campus lessons spill into a citywide incident, and merchants and nobles scheming also try to prevent him from continuing on and getting a foothold in the city. The plot weaves through academy lectures, Rembrandt, the family, the rising human demon tensions, sprinkled with character growth and fights that are nudging the whole world towards a larger political and spiritual showdown that even the goddess at some point can't ignore.
Well, season 1 got a 9 out of me, and yet somehow I still like season 2 better.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I don't know if it's because of all the information I already know, but my favorite arc out of the whole thing so far was when he's teaching. I love how detailed they get. The world building around it is immaculate. It's some of the best fight scenes I've seen, some of the flashiest fight scenes in the show. Granted, there are other times when he's far more dominant and impressive as far as his feats are concerned, but maybe it's just my personality, but I'm a huge fan of the world building behind the scenes almost that they show you, and that rather than tell you, like, oh yeah, I have students that do that. No. Oh, my students don't really think I'm strong. They have issue with me. Well, let's do a demonstration. Oh, you have this, and this. Okay, cool. Well, I want you to do this, and I won't accept any less. And he has, for lack of a better way to put it, troublemakers that show up, and they're like,
it's not that
this is going to be not only a piece of...
No, I would disagree. It's not that they're troublemakers. They were recommended there. So? No, because they all felt either unchallenged or no one knew what to do with them, because they were already pretty talented across the board as it was.
Oh yeah, no, there was immense talent to go around.
Right.
But I assumed. Go
ahead. So that's why I don't remember them saying that they were troublemakers. I think the biggest thing is that they just had that amount of talent, right?
I do remember the Rembrandt sisters being labeled as like Nightmare on Wheels.
Yeah, but all the students that are there because they wanted to be there, not because they're forced to be there. His class is 100% elective. So they started off with double the students at what they had. Then he showed like what he actually was capable of. Half the students never returned because they didn't want a part of it. The ones that showed up there felt like they would be able to gain something out of it. They felt like he would give them the direction and the growth that they were all wanting and that they were all craving.
Well, part of the thing I liked the most was the fact that he and Shiki were like, you know, let's put on such a big show that no one shows up. Like, I don't want to do this as a teacher. So if we scare them, they'll all go away and they'll stay away, which kind of backfired a little bit, but in the best way possible, because you're right. Like, it started out a fairly decent sized class, and then we got down to the core members. You don't think so?
No, they didn't do that because they were trying to scare them off and didn't want them to show up. They were the reason why that they were showing off or fighting is because it started off, he's like, hey, they have to respect me. They need to listen to me. So I'm going to play the bad guy. You're going to play the good guy. And so while he was talking to them, signing to them, he was telling them, it's like, you guys have to do this. You guys have to do that. You guys have to do this. You know, it's like, because they were like, oh, we only just focus on this one element. Well, you need to focus on more than just one element. And so they straight up said, well, it's easy for you to say that, but can you actually do that? Do you have the ability or the capability to do it? And so that's why he's like, all right, hey,
game on.
We'll do this. He and I, we're going to have a single bout. We're going to show you a high level battle. If you guys after that want to come back and decide you want to learn from us, great. If not, move on. And that's why, like, they straight up said, it's easy for you to preach that. It's easy for you to sit there and showcase that. But it's another thing in practice. It's another thing in reality.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I like the show a lot. Like, I'm super biased towards it because yeah. But again, my favorite section of that was the school. What was him helping these minor characters in my mind grow to, in my mind, become stronger than the heroes that were summoned. And that was kind of cool because it shows me that the potential for greatness, you need talent. Yes, of course you need talent, but God-given talent for the heroes isn't omnipotent. It isn't unattainable by the masses. And it was just,
yeah,
it was very well done for the time it was needed, you know?
Yeah. And Goose points out very good. It's like the plot, not the school portion of it, the school arc was not only a plot builder, but also a way for the future world building to happen and develop at the exact same time, which is 100% true because the school arc or the school portion of it doesn't just take place, honestly, at the school. It's not just them teaching classes. There's a lot of geopolitical and everything else that's going on. You learn more about the world. You learn about the time discrepancies and time frame in between that world and the world that he had been originally a part of for the longest time. And so you get to learn more about it. And then you also learn about everything else having to do with the leveling system and everything else going on there and the true hands behind it at the exact same time. And then they also clarify in the season 2, much later towards the end, it's, and I do agree with what the goddess had said, which was she didn't give him the blessing to just straight out speak it. Right.
Yeah.
But he could learn it. So here's one of the things that the manga kind of differentiates for it. Right. And why he felt like he couldn't. And this would have provided greater context. Okay. Is in the manga, he comes across someone in season 1 where he's having to do that. And he goes, oh, wouldn't you like, how did you learn and everything like that? And she goes, oh, maybe you just weren't blessed or the blessing was taken away from you. Because what happens is when you're like 3 years old or whatever it is, you go to the goddess's temple, you pray, and she just gives you the gift to be able to speak it. You don't have to go through school to learn it. She just straight up blesses you with the ability to be able to speak it. So, which would lead to the credence of him believing he is not allowed to speak it because everyone else in that world, they pray to the goddess when they're like 3 or 4 years old, and they are given the ability to speak the language.
Yeah.
The language. yeah, language is not something that is taught. Language is something that is gifted to them by the goddess, specifically for humans.
Yeah, because yes, she's not a huge fan of anything not human, but that does lead me that would make so much more sense. It's not a learned language; it's a gifted language. Which that would make perfect sense why he would think he couldn't learn it or shouldn't learn it.
Well, it's not that he shouldn't learn it; that he couldn't learn to speak it. He learned to write it. He can learn to understand it. He can learn to read it. He learned all of that. He just couldn't speak it, and he thought it was because the goddess prevented him from being able to speak it, because everyone that was speaking it was gifted this, right? So Goose says, I haven't actually read the manga yet for this, and I need to. What I am actually talking about is all from season 1 still.
Really?
Yes. Like he meets someone in season 1 where season 1 is taking place, and that's where you're learning about this, is him like going, oh, so it's a gifted language. It's not that you go and learn it. You can, but in order to kind of speak it, you have to honestly be gifted it or pray to the goddess and she'll gift it to you. And I feel like that's where his mentality, because everyone else that is not a human, they have to learn it and they are not great at speaking it. It's hard for them to learn it or become fluent in it, but all the humans speak it. So it is common for them to have to learn how to speak it. And if you remember also in season 1, she specifically says, I am going to gift you comprehension for all the races except human, but never overtly expresses that he cannot speak, learn, or understand it through his own efforts.
Yeah. And honestly, it's an oversight that seems natural, because the goddess is very, I'm going to say finicky.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very kind, generous word to use when describing her. Many other words come to mind, but I don't want to have to age rate this.
Right.
But yeah, and the funniest thing in my interaction, my view of the interactions that he has with the goddess, is every single time he sees her, she's berating him. But this last time he sees her, I felt so good. He was like, look here, you.
Well, so again, like his mentality in thinking that from how she was when she met him, like the first couple times, is, again, it goes back to what happened in the manga. Like, remember when we talked about in the post show, like all the extra stuff? Yes. Like how it would have it provides so much more context to everything. And it's the exact same thing. It's like, you can even see it now. Like the effects of what was left out from then, it's like just trickled effect all the way through and providing the greater context. I am just, happy that, it's like, hey, at some point, he's got to get to a point to where he would, I feel like he would have eventually gotten to a point where he would have learned it anyways to speak it just from trying. But,
well, I mean, he got to a point where spelling everything out was fairly easy. And I don't think he would have, because he got comfortable spelling everything out, making it seem like he didn't understand, or making it seem like he had difficulties or cursed. And it kind of made it made him being ugly less shocking and more understandable if he's been like, he's under a curse.
Yeah.
So it's a plot driven device and it makes sense to me. But the way that everything was set up, I like the fact that he brought Shiki with him to his second or third, was it third meeting with the goddess?
Third.
Third. Okay.
Yeah.
And he ends up, Shiki's the one that's like, well, you want this, you want this, you want this. I'm speaking on his behalf because our boy was so pissed. And he's like, I don't want anything from this person. You can go fly a kite. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. You can't make me. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Well, and again, Goose points out, he even states at the end that he never thought about speaking it, and that there would have had to have been something to make him actually want to learn, to try and learn again to speak it. because he already went through learning. That's why he could read it. That's why he could write it. That's why he could understand it. The only thing he couldn't do was speak it. And you already honestly saw part of like the hindrances for him not being able to speak. Like he was there trying to prevent or stand in the way of like of someone being bullied, so to speak, or appear to be bullied. Can't really hear writing, you know.
Fair.
And so I feel like those instances, had he not gained the ability to speak, would have continued to stack to where he would have had to reach a point to where he kind of had to speak.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. But you would need to, I don't know, is blind a thing in this world? Like people being, I assume, right? But there's also forms of healing. They've got other magics that should be able to heal almost any malady you might have.
So the healing factor is entirely dependent on the healing factor that you have in you, on how well the healing your body takes to healing magic is entirely dependent on your skill level itself with healing and the power that you have for it. So again,
so it doesn't really heal anything. It really doesn't heal anything. It just makes you fix yourself faster.
Basically, yeah. So the healing magic basically helps use the healing magic that's already in your body to accelerate the healing process, right? So if you remember at the beginning of season, or not at the beginning, but it was like season 2. It was this season. I don't remember where it was in the series though, but you see Mio and Tomoe just straight up panicking, healing him, and Tomoe's like telling her to calm down, everything's going to be fine and everything like that, because they're trying to heal him.
Yeah.
Okay. It's because his healing factor was so weak and so small from that. And one of the things you don't know is from season 1 that they left out is he had 0 healing factor. So Emma, the orc, high orc, and Tomoe both imparted some of the seedlings for the healing factor in him, so that way healing magic would work. But it was still in its infancy for him, to where healing magic still was really hard to move through.
Dude, context would have made that far more tense than anything else.
Yeah.
Like in a good way.
Yeah, like he had barely gotten the healing factor from his fight with Mio before she became contracted to him. And he had 0 healing factor. The healing factor he had was very minimal at best in there. And that is why they were drastically trying to heal him in the second season. And you saw that panic where they were trying to heal him is because of that. He still had a very infantile healing point for him. The seeds were planted, they just never sprouted yet. And that's why.
Okay. And do you think that...
But that's also why he couldn't, like, that's why everyone was always like, hey, be careful, you know, because you will die. You have to be careful.
Yeah, I guess. I always assumed he had a fairly good healing factor regardless. It never occurred to me he had nothing.
Yeah, he had nothing. At least according to the manga, he had nothing. What's up, Jeb?
Hey, Jeb.
Yeah, he had nothing. And thanks for the 4 months being subscribed, Goose. Congratulations, man. Much love to you.
Thank you. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's so much that happens in season 2 and even in season 1 where the context just would have been, you know,
it would have made so much more sense.
If you
take a look at it, I'm not perfectly happy. I'm very happy that season 2 was 24 episodes.
Yes.
Like it filled it in not only very well, but it was, you know how some shows inflate to make it to 24? I feel like you had to condense to fit it all in there because you had 3 major arcs? Yeah, the school that lasted between like 6 to 8 episodes, and then you had the war, the flashback, the side story. You had you had catch up, like where you were basically like, oh, this happened to these people simultaneously. So we're telling two stories. You already got the main character. Now you got the side characters that are now learning about the main character who could or could not be the third hero or fourth hero, depending on your opinion, or even a hero at all. It could be an anti-hero, and whew, just good stuff all around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And good. Okay. And just then you get more backstory, and you get more subterfuge. You get more, like, as the audience, you start seeing other cogs in motion, and you're like, oh, when our main character finally finds this out and makes these connections, it's gonna be great. And then you've got, I'm going to say, people with questionable morals. Not to say like they're doing something wrong in particular. It's just their viewpoint while they're doing something questionable is off, and you don't really know why. And you meet, the guild leader. Is he a dragon? Is he an elder dragon? Like what is he?
Yes. He is one of the 4 great dragons.
Okay, and doesn't our main character have one of the 4 great dragons as his pseudo pet? No,
Shin is not one of the 4 great dragons.
What is she?
She is an elder dragon, but she is not one of the 4.
Oh, because she does mention like, hey, my master is strong enough; he could probably solo you. And I thought that she was like a great. So. What's stopping him from just forming contracts with everyone? Their willingness? I mean, obviously.
I would assume the limitations on it. I just don't know.
Okay. Because I'm like, if he gets stronger, depending on who he signs, and they get stronger, and it's kind of like a one feeding off the other kind of thing, because Shiki wasn't strong to begin with. And he basically had to nerf himself hard to get Shiki even a 1 in 10 or 1/10 or 1% of a contract, which I thought was hilarious. But after the contract was signed, he got a severe boost in every aspect, to the point where he was able to take on like actual dragons, and he was able to take on other people. And they're like, you're just a pleb. My master's so much stronger. And I'm thinking, if you've got a 1%, if you have a 1% contract, that means that your master's 99 times stronger than you. Well, if I'm understanding this correctly, yeah?
Yeah. And I am corrected. So Shin is one of the greater dragons, just not as known. And there are 7 total, not 4.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. Well, and then, so I'm hoping he makes further contracts. Right. Genuinely, I do. And what I found hilarious is his little pocket dimension is creating beings like the bear, the wolf, the eagle. They're on, like, from my minor research when I was interested, told me that they're on the same level as like a demon lord. Like his rando animals that populate his soul space, they're so strong that it's not even close to normal animals, to normal anything.
Right.
And he doesn't even know, because he has nothing to compare it to. Or the things he does have it to compare it to are so overpowered. It's
well, yeah. And so the one thing I will say though is I don't think it's always been 7 dragons either. I just want to say that I don't think it's always been 7. I think it was only 3, 4 originally, and then the rest of them were created after the fact.
Is it possible? Good.
And that's why I don't consider Shin to be a part of the normal 4.
Is it possible that the other dragons were murdered, and which is why we didn't count them?
No, because they're still, I mean, like, they make references to them. Even at the beginning, they say, the waterfall dragon, and it's like, I can swipe the room with her. She ain't nothing. You know, is what Tomoe says. And then you have false or Root or whatever he's going by now. You have him, and then he referenced like one other one, and I can't remember who it was, but they were still around. And that's why I think there was like a fourth one. And then the other ones, because it was him, that one, and I think he said like two others. And then others were spawned out from them, or they created others. And the reason why I say they created others is because the False, I'm just going to call him False because that's his stage name. Yeah, his adventure name. Is because he's also created other things, and he has a massive amount of power and a massive amount of magic that you see throughout the series too, or that you find out later on. So you know that he has spent eons just creating and making and everything else. And not only that, False, when you're first introduced to him, it's like Shin looks and goes, "You decided to become a guy now?" Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. So you're a man this time.
Yeah.
Well, I got tired of being a woman, and yeah, I had all the fun. Now it's time to see the fun from this side. Huh? Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. Logic in the anime, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just I loved most of everything that happened here. I loved his power-ups because it seemed real. And what I mean by that is like the progression. It wasn't like, oh, I'm thinking about this for a day, now I'm super powered. Now he had to go through trial and error and research and hints and happenstance and, oh, this will only happen if you've got enough mana, but nobody alive has enough mana to make this happen. And then just boom. And he's like, whoa, this is something I can try. And then he's trained, and it's just awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah.
You should watch it. You should, not you, obviously, because I'm talking to you about it, but to our audience, it is, the series itself is in my top 5. Stranded on a Desert Island, if I could get the complete series. Yeah. Manga sounds way more interesting than the show, and I am absolutely in love with the show.
Yeah. It is a great show. Definitely well worth it. Definitely well worth the watch. But honestly, I mean, like, I feel like if we went into it anymore, we would just be talking in circles at this point. So I feel like this is a great spot for a rating, sir. How about you?
So just like before, I'm going to need your assistance. I'm ready for a rating. Give me a reason it's not a 10. As far as second seasons go,
well, there is a third season coming.
Yes, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I would assume so, considering it's not aired.
I'm a time traveler. But in all honesty, as far as second seasons are concerned, I don't think I found a better one, which is saying a lot because a second season's usually really hard to pull off.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. It was great. They definitely alluded and talked about some of the other happenings that are going on there. Like pointed out or talked about, like, oh, everyone's over in this area, or this person's over in this area over here for it.
You just made up my mind. I'm giving it a 10. To fit as much as they did for a second season and not make it feel like it was pulling at strings to try to fill time, or to seem like it wasn't too much. For 24 full episodes, I have not seen a better one. So I'm going to say, 25 episodes. Still, I can't find I can't find anything. Like it felt natural. It felt good. I was looking forward to every episode. I rewatched several of them because I was like, oh, sweet. But yeah. And this is when I was watching it for the first time. My second playthrough was even like I knew what was going to happen, and I was still excited for it. So yeah, 10.
Okay. I'm going with a 9, and the reason why I'm going with a 9 is, one, they kept alluding to and pointing out characters off in the distance, or pointing at them like as if they're the big bads. Your scene with Hibiki And at the exact same time, she has that spirit animal that was gifted to her by the goddess that she obviously holds in very high regards, but then spontaneously and randomly decides to kill the spirit beast and wear it to boost her power, I guess, in some random fashion.
Okay.
Or whatever, which didn't make sense to me. I didn't particularly care for that portion of it. Also, I wish they provided more context as to why he needed the healing, why he kept running into the obstacles that he kept running into with the lack of the added information, the lack of added details. I just feel like it would have been better. I also feel like they kind of shortchanged the academy a little bit. I feel like there was more there that could have been elaborated on for them and had a far better thought out story, especially with his issues and turbulences having to deal with the Merchant Guild at the exact same time.
I kind of thought, so not to, well, actually, yes, to directly go against what you're saying. But
yeah, and again, Jeb even points out the healing stuff is covered in the manga, like I was talking to you about. Like,
yeah,
that should be covered at least. It should have been covered at least in season 2 on what was happening and everything like that, which is another reason why I'm only going with a 9.
Oh, old Jeb says it. The beast can transform into the armor, so that was why she kept wearing it. It was just added armor. But so I'll go against you on the school thing. I think that they did just enough to, if they spent any more time on it, I feel like it would have felt like we were dragging our feet to get to the next point. The troubles he had with the market people, with the people, the Merchant Guild, I feel like that was very warranted because he was very naive and he was very inexperienced, to say the very least, in that. And I think that the way that they handled it showed the inexperience. It showed the growth he could have. It showed him that, you've had a really good time in life right now, but it's not all roses and ice cream. Like you can't fall through this industry, not even walking, just trip and fall forward and progress like he had been doing. Everything felt very easy, but now it feels like he's earned it. Now it feels very much more methodical and planned out and a little more callous, if I can say that. It felt very more full. It felt more full to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, but yeah, that's why I'm giving it a 9. And I would have provided more. I would have loved more. Again, I would have loved more information on that in the anime, right? They don't talk about it. They don't give the details of it. You just see that, oh, she is wearing her dog, her spirit wolf as armor now. Like, there's no real any background information. There's not much details on it. I'm not saying like, oh, if I had known that beforehand from the manga, I would have rated it higher. No, I'm rating it and I'm pointing it out based off the anime, because they don't provide, like the healing, they don't point it out. Like, why was it so hard to heal him? Oh, if you don't read the manga, if you don't read the light novel, if you don't read the extra material that's out there, you don't know. You just know, you just see them panicking. And that's why it's like, there's lack of information that's still 2 seasons in that they're not providing, that was revealed and talked about at the very beginning of the series. So,
okay, I can see that.
That's why. That's
to
why
give you
me.
Context. My opinion on the healing thing. Yeah, what you say makes way more sense than what I was thinking. I was just thinking they were overreacting and he wasn't hurt that bad. Like that's as an anime only, that's kind of what I took away from it.
Really, I saw them panicking and Mio starting to turn into the spider form because she was using so much magic. Like, you see her like them both straight up panicking, and him still barely even healing, if at all, because they even showed that he was still missing fingers and he was bandaged, and he was laying there and he was just there. And then you also find out that he woke up days later in season 1.
Yeah, no, I get that too, but I simply assumed that because he was paired with, oh, criminy, we just said her name.
Mio.
The spider girl, Mio. Because he was paired with Mio, he got her healing affinity. It just took time.
I never got, before I read the manga, I never got that from there. I never got that from there. And they never talked about healing affinity in general from it, for it. In general, from him saying, oh, I got the healing affinity from her. They said that you get certain skills or abilities from them, but they never specifically say what those were, what the limitations are, what it does and doesn't qualify for, right?
I guess that's why I just assumed it. I filled in the blanks that I didn't see by taking the information I had previously, and I was satisfied with it because I didn't see it as a plot hole that needed to be filled, because I assumed they had done so by saying, oh, he got affinities from this one and this one and this one, and part of that was even though it was never stated, I just had assumed. So, I mean, it in my mind, it's a little bit more interesting now that we know that he just sucks at healing.
Yeah.
And he's going to need. But does that mean that because they planted seeds, they're growing to grow and be better?
I would assume so.
Way?
Yeah, I would assume so.
I was going to say, because if you could imagine a way to foster the growth in that to the point where he'd be invincible, but that'd make him too strong. I think that would not be good. He still needs to be vulnerable in some aspect, I think.
Yeah.
But that's a future problem. That's not a now problem. So,
yep.
Man, 10 for me, 9 for you.
Mm-hmm.
Still, for a second season, incredibly favorable reviews.
Indeed. So next week, we are going to talk about Arcane, which was a recommendation from CJ.
Sweet.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. If you feel like we did too much justice, not enough justice, got stuff playing all wrong, feel free to let us know. You can reach out to us. All the contact information's in the show notes, as well as on our website at featuredanimepodcast.com. And of course, you can use our affiliate links for Crunchyroll. Get yourself a discount, get yourself a free trial. It helps us out by that way too. And then don't forget about Tokyo Treats if you use coupon code Featured Anime at checkout, along with our affiliate link. Get $5 off that very first box. Trust me, they are worth it. And don't forget to support us by going to shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. Buy yourself some swanky swag. And until next time, I'm Jack.
And we'll see you next time.